Ready to go now at 160 pounds. From Hickory High School, District 10, coached by Carl Wambacher, Mike Scott. And from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and he'll get a big hand from the home fans. Carl Rhodes, his coach. Senior Jason Peters. Peters, of course, the sentimental favorite of a lot of the fans here from the Hershey area. Peters is wearing the green ankle band and Mike Scott the red.
Well, we have a different styles here. They're bobbing and weaving and running and jogging.
Thought for a minute I saw the old shades of Mike Frick out there. Let me at him. But how quick they stop.
Speaking of Hershey, Larry, of course, one of the great things is, you know, it's the chocolate capital of the world. And when you speak of Hershey, you speak of chocolate. And everything here this week in Hershey, by all of the great people connected with every organization and with this community, has made this tournament a vast and enormous success. So we take hats off to all of the things that are Hershey.
Here you see Carl Rhodes and his assistant at Hershey. District 3 school. District 3, of course, Juniata, Perry, Dauphin, Lebanon, Cumberland, Franklin, Adams, York, and Lancaster counties.
Speaking of Hershey, of course, the famous Hershey Medical School here, and I ran into Penn State national champ Martin, Jim, and he's finishing up here at Hershey Med. And he's still looking youthful, and I suggested to him to take his internship at St. Luke's in Bethlehem. That way he could wrestle 118 for Lehigh. And he said, I think I can make the weight.
Well,
he's the Doogie Howser of the medical profession. Very youthful, but what a wrestler he was.
Larry, I know a number of athletes have come here. I remember I used to come in. There were a number of brown people here, wrestlers, football players in this case, who went to the Hershey Medical School, and I used to come here and have a great time with them, and enjoyed that.
Bananas to you, Marv. 20 seconds ago, no score.
That's an inside joke for the fans because I was about to put that down there. I was being criticized because they mark third place on these programs, and it says third place, but Mr. Siegel, who used to be able to read when I knew him in 1952, 40 years ago, the first time, used to be able to read, but now
takedown imminent, but
he sees numbers.
Nice takedown. That is a pursuit.
Yep. It was imminent, and at 2-second mark, he got the deuce.
I mean, Jason, we got to, hopefully we'll take another look at that if we can, because you're going to see the result of a lot of great effort. Jason Peters absolutely pursuing Mike Scott, and then a very fine takedown.
Peters is a guy who beat Kyle Werkheiser, the defending champion at this weight class.
In an excellent bout, 3-2. Peters also won a heck of a bout in the very first round against Steve Giordano from Kane. Won it 4-2. Peters never quits. He's a go-go wrestler. He's a Toma type.
Here the edge again, a 2-0 lead for Jason Peters. Career record of 97-13, and Mike Scott has a career record of 102-19.
Peters placed 6th last year at this weight class, so he's tournament tough. And we have an escape. It's now 2-1. Peters sets himself up in the center of the mat.
Official in charge of this mat is referee-in-chief Dr. John Hosage.
Here's something interesting about Jason Peters. I think he's the only wrestler in this tournament who's beaten 3 people, and each one of those people placed in the wrestlebacks. Sven Wetzel of Liberty, 3rd. Kyle Werkheiser, a 4th, the former state champ, and now Giordano of Kane, a 5th.
Well, they got a little stalling call there.
Now Now they're ready to go again. A minute to go in the second period. It's a 2-1 lead for the wrestler with the green anklet, Jason Peters of Hershey.
But my point is you can have as many timeouts as you want as long as it doesn't exceed a total time of 2 minutes. As opposed to college, you're only allowed a total of a minute and a half, but a maximum of 3 timeouts. There's a nice takedown.
Looked like he was going to be carried into the second row on that.
Member of the media. He made him make him a member of the media.
Jason Peters was about to drop the other wrestler right on the lap of a series of computers and typewriters on the media side.
Speaking of the media, Ron Curly Garrison, who is the principal exponent of the Pittsburgh Press Wrestling Classic, and we certainly would be remiss if we didn't note that he had lost 40 of the 50 pounds he must lose, and at the same time, every one of those pounds is going into increased energy to promote that great, great event, the Wrestling Classic in Pittsburgh. So keep your eyes open for the announcement of that classic.
Well, I do know that the Wrestling Challenge of Champions is already set. That's the AA versus AAA champs. It's set for March 22nd at State College Area High School, not at Penn State.
Oh, here comes a good move.
There's
and a
nice
pickup
trip.
and a drop.
Drop.
Oh, a lovely thing to watch.
Exposure. 1001, 1002. There's definitely near fall points coming out of this as the period ends.
Jason Peters, that was just
the 3 near
like
fall.
A wonderful move. If Lou Fonseca were making a how to do it for wrestling, he would have shot this.
Perfect. Watch this. Under the arm.
Nice trip to begin with the foot. That you missed.
And the pickup. And he really eased him down rather nicely.
But then from that point, takes the far elbow and says, come on, give me some near fall points here.
It's exactly, Larry, what so many people don't do. Taking the offside elbow.
Yeah. But the first move, if Sandy was watching that carefully, you run it again. Watch the little leg trip. A little foot goes in there. This little trip of the foot.
9-2, Jason Peters leading.
Then another.
He's got some more. 11-2.
Now he's got a 9-point lead, which of course is enough for a major decision. All you need is
Gonna be optional
8.
again.
Optional start. The rule book says alternative start, Marvin, and then you read through the rules, and then it talks about an optional start. So they interchange the words optional and alternative.
Okay. Are you sure?
John?
Dr. Osage is looking into his eyes. With 1:32 in the match.
Near the edge.
So if you're going to that Wrestling Challenge of Champions, it's not at Rec Hall at Penn State. It's at State College Area High School.
Whole series of press photographers sitting down here, and of course missing one of the great photographers, one of the great legends of the lens, Joe Ryan, of course, is not here. Joe covers all of Lehigh University, and we tried to pick up the Buddha artifact and bring it here, but we were not allowed to bring it out of the city for this
105 remaining, and a nice, comfortable 8-point lead for Jason Peters.
Larry, has Hershey ever had a state champion? You look in your program, and I think it lists the schools and the champions.
Well, another better champion than Red Campbell, of course, but depending what you're talking about.
Larry, in modern time.
Okay.
And you're talking about 1840.
Actually, Marvin, that's why we have you here. You're supposed to be answering those questions, not asking them.
Peters scrambling away with 35 seconds and an 8-point lead. Just doesn't want to get hurt with anything. Get into a bad posture here. Get lateraled.
Hold it.
Peters looked up at that point as if to say, why are you stealing my head guard? Why do you want it? I'm not giving souvenirs away. There's 28 seconds to go, and Michael Scott of Hickory, northwest region of the state, looking at the clock, says, I'm down 8. Do I have one move?
Mike Scott is back on the mat, and now Jason Peters comes out to go the final 28 seconds of this match. Peters leading by 8. And Scott will have to do something unorthodox and dramatic.
Just trying to get him into a throwing position.
Well, he has the headlock, but then loses it.
And we got 2 because the supporting points were his hands.
There's 16
That makes
seconds.
it 13-3.
Optional again.
See John Hosage saying optional. What's that saying, Larry? Never throw with a thrower?
13-4.
No, my best expression is never pass up a bar.
Look at this.
And there's
Wow,
another throw.
great move.
Right to his back. Near fall points. Will be 2 more. That's a
What a finish.
That
What a
should be
finish for Jason
17-4. And a real display as Peters has come from 6th place to 1st place.
Well, they have so much here in Hershey, and now they have a state champion in Jason Peters. This is becoming the ever-complete community.
Now let's look at this final move, and this is all with just a few seconds to go.
Trying to find out what the last one was.
Hats off to Peters. Hit that hip